Hello and welcome to the United Community Channel, and we're back with another match preview for Man United's game against Southampton on Saturday in what is going to be potentially a very different game to what we've seen against Liverpool. Now obviously the result against Liverpool was fantastic, and I think Manchester United and Ten Hag especially got his tactics absolutely spot on. Now look, you know, as ironic as it sounds, sometimes games against the likes of Southampton away can be more difficult in relation to getting up for a game, and you know, yeah, especially given how rowdy the Old Trafford crowd was on Monday night after the protests and things like that. And of course, it's Liverpool, so I think I'm expecting a completely different game against Southampton on the weekend, and I think it's up to Manchester United and the players themselves, the starting 11 to go out onto the field, and any other players that do come on. It's up to them to keep the intensity levels up, to get up for the game. It's not a Liverpool. It's not a main rival. It's not at home. So, it's going to be a completely different kettle of fish, I think, for this Manchester United team. And I just hope we can go out and keep the consistency up, keep the levels of intensity going that we've seen against Liverpool on Monday. Now, of course, look, you would be expecting Manchester United to have more possession against a team like Southampton, with all due respect. But, I think where Manchester United have struggled in the last couple of years is maybe teams that play maybe a lower block, a more defensive team, that sit in and maybe work on the counter attack. So it's going to be interesting to see how Manchester United, first of all, shape up, and then, of course, how they actually get on against the likes of Southampton. Now, I'm going to give my 11 in a few minutes, the team that I would pick, not specifically the team that I think will be picked. So we'll get into that in a moment. But first, a note on maybe Southampton and what's to expect, what's to be expected against them. And look, Hassan Hüttl has been there now for a number of years already. And look, his teams are renowned for, I suppose, aggressive nature when they're out of possession. And like I said, you would be expecting Manchester United to have the majority of the ball. But I suppose the squad itself, when we're looking at Southampton, it's full of hard working players, maybe dual dominant players, that like to go, head to head and thrive in maybe chasing down the ball, pursuing the opponent, winning it back as high up the field as they can. So that's something that Manchester United are going to have to deal with. And I think it's something that maybe, if I'm being completely honest, Manchester United haven't been historically good at playing against in the last couple of years. But look, I'm sure, Eric Ten Hag has been drilling this kind of stuff into them, and hopefully the change that we did see against Liverpool does carry on. Players to point out really, first of all, Shea Adams, has to get the first mention. He has 4 goals this season already. Scored 2 last week against Leicester in the space of a half an hour coming off the bench. So absolutely a big threat there. But in relation to maybe Manchester United and coming up against him, he tends to be Che Adams tends to be maybe tasked with maybe blocking the passing lanes into the midfield with Southampton, more so than maybe chasing down the ball, hassling, defenders for the ball, when he's out of possession. So I think that's something that Manchester United, maybe is a positive thing for Manchester United, because he's not going to be chasing down every single ball like you would see historically a Carlos Tevez doing, for example. But he does like to close down them lanes, angle his runs maybe and close down a centre back that way. So that's going to be interesting to see. Other players of note, obviously, I think a main threat with Southampton, of course, is going to come from set pieces, given how good James Ward-Prowse is on a corner first and foremost, but especially on a free kick. I think his stats are just behind David Beckham in relation to the amount of free kicks he's scored in the Premier League, so a massive threat there. And Manchester United are going to have to be smart when it comes to defensive play. We can't be diving into tackles, we can't be giving away free kicks in our own half, let alone on the edge of the box. So I think it is something we do have to keep an eye on. I think their fullbacks are quite strong. Kyle Walker-Peters being the main threat there. He has a goal and an assist already this season, so it is something that Manchester United are going to have to keep an eye on. I think if we do go with the same back 4 that we did against Liverpool, I can't see Malacia, cowering under that, given the fact that he had such a good game against the likes of Trent Alexander-Arnold and Mo Salah. But look, I do think it is an area that we do have to keep an eye on, absolutely. And a final maybe note on Southampton, they do like to play a high defensive line. Now again, you know, we've seen that in the past, you know, come up against them, especially, was it a 5-2 loss they had against Spurs either last season or season before, where they played a very high line and Spurs just destroyed them. I think it was 5-2 they beat them. So if they do that again, obviously you would be expecting the likes of Rashford, Sancho, and whoever else is playing up front. We'll get into the starting 11 in a few minutes. To use that kind of long ball in over the top, like we did against Liverpool, and hit them, you know, on the break. In relation to Manchester United, then obviously an absolutely fantastic result against Liverpool last Monday. Every player 7 and above in relation to player ratings. I wouldn't see a massive amount of change. I don't think we should change an awful amount. I'll do my starting 11 now in one moment, but I think Casemiro obviously is a great signing, and according to Eric Ten Hag in his interview today, he is fully fit for the game and he's ready to go. So it'll be interesting to see whether he starts or not. Of course, the news is just after break, and I did want to leave doing the video until I seen Ten Hag's interview. Obviously, Martial is injured again with an Achilles injury, so he is going to miss out on the weekend. Now, what does that mean? Do we bring Cristiano Ronaldo straight in, or do you go with a similar type of, I suppose, formation and team selection that we did against Liverpool with the likes of Elanga, pace, ball in over the top, high press? I would prefer that. I think it worked very well against Liverpool, so I don't see why it couldn't work against, all due respect, a lesser team in Southampton. I think that's going to be vital. I think Casemiro has to come straight into the team. I would bring him in instead of McTominay. I'll give my starting 11 now in a moment. But look, I don't think we should change too much after that. I think every player played so well that I think we should be given the majority of players the benefit of the doubt for another start. But let's do the starting 11 anyway. Obviously, picks himself every week, David De Gea. Again, I think he had a great game on Monday. He made a couple of very good saves, controlled his box a lot better, and went direct with it when he needed to go direct, when the ball was at his feet. So absolutely there. Look, the back four, I'm going to put them up all straight away because I think it's pretty straightforward that they all should start. So let me just get them up here. So we have Malacia, we have Varane, we have Martinez. Sorry now. Let me just do this. Apologies. There we go. So Varane, Malacia, Martinez, and Dalot. Again, look, it was a fantastic performance by all four on Monday night against Liverpool. I think we've seen the start of maybe a very good partnership, blossoming between Martinez and Varane. So I don't see any reason why we should split them up. Obviously, Malacia came in, and absolutely dominated against the likes of Salah and Trent. I think Luke Shaw's days are numbered. I've been saying it from day one. I didn't think it was going to take long for Malacia to come in, and maybe secure that left back position. So absolutely, I'm going to go with him to start. Midfield then, I'm going to go with Casemiro and Eriksen as our two. Obviously 4-2-3-1 we're looking at here. So Casemiro and Eriksen. I think Casemiro comes straight into the team for Scott McTominay. As I thought Scott McTominay had a good game against Liverpool, but look, if we're looking at the basis of playing him ahead of Casemiro, there's no comparison really. I think Scott McTominay's numbers on the field are about to get very limited, given the fact that Casemiro has come in. So I'll be going with them two. Just ahead of them then, I'm going to go with Bruno Fernandes. And if any remember the preview I done for the Liverpool game, he wasn't in my starting 11. I didn't think he was overly good in the first two games against Brighton and Brentford. But look, I mean, his performance on Monday night against Liverpool, I think he does deserve a start. I think he was very, very good. His energy levels, he never stopped running. He still has the kind of that kind of long ball in him, the stupid pass in him where he tries to play at 70 yards when a 10-yard pass is on. And I mentioned it already. I think there were 60 seconds to go in the Liverpool game, and all he had to do was, he was on the left hand side, and all he had to do was carry the ball into the corner, but he opened his body and tried a big crossfield pass, gave it away, and Liverpool went out on the attack. These are the small things he has to get out of his game still. But look, absolutely on Monday's performance he deserves a start. And the three up front then, obviously I'm going to go with Sancho on the left. as you know, the same as Monday night. Obviously, got a goal, had a brilliant performance. I'm going to go again with Elanga on the right. I think he was fantastic in the first half, and um, I think Eric Ten Hag took him off not because he didn't play well or anything. I just think tactically he wanted to get Rashford down that left channel, get Martial on to hold up the ball, and you know, it worked a treat. Obviously, we've seen with Rashford with his second goal, them two linking up, and I'm going to go with Rashford again through the middle to start. Obviously, he got a goal. He had a very good game against Liverpool on the weekend, so I think he deserves a start. So that's my starting 11, guys. You know, like I said, the only real change that I have there is Casemiro coming in for McTominay. Again, this is the team that I would pick personally. Doesn't mean that it's going to be the team that starts. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Would you change anything there? What do you think of my starting 11? You know, would you change any of the picks that I made there? Let us know in the comments below. And in relation to a score prediction, then I think Manchester United, if we can play, you know, anywhere close to the way we played on Monday night against Liverpool, I think we will comfortably get a victory. I think we have to have the same level of intensity because it's never an easy game against Southampton. And, you know, I think if we can do that, if we can get an early goal again, take the pressure off, you know, keep the intensity levels going, absolutely, I think we can get a victory, you know, against them. So my score prediction, I'm going to go with a 2-0 victory to Manchester United. I think it's well within our capabilities, you know, if we can play to the levels that we played, you know, on Monday night. But again, look, obviously, let's call a spade here. We can easily see Manchester United reverting back to their old habits, you know, and I'm not, you know, getting over the fact that it's only been one good performance this season out of 3. You know, and obviously it was at home to Liverpool on the back of big protests outside of Old Trafford. So everything was riled up, you know, and everything kind of fell into Manchester United's favour in relation to the game. So it's going to be a completely different atmosphere going away to Southampton, you know, and these players are going to have to get themselves up for a game in a different way than they would have to against, you know, the likes of a Liverpool. I still do think we can get the job done. I'm going with a 2-0 victory to Manchester United. But again, let me know what you think in the comments below. Get your score predictions in and we'll see how you get on. But yeah, if you haven't already, guys, please hit the like button for me. It helps the channel out an awful lot. Please hit subscribe as well if you're new to the channel. We're trying to hit 5,000 subscribers before Christmas. We'd really appreciate your help if you could hit the subscribe button. And again, we're doing our watch along for Manchester United's game against Southampton tomorrow. We're going to be live from 12 o'clock on the channel, United Community Channel. But yeah, you can follow us below on all the links to the social medias there as well. But yeah, make sure you hit like and subscribe. I appreciate you watching, and I'll see you tomorrow for the watch along. Take care.